Silence has a way of cutting deeper than any words you could ever say. When you stop contacting a man, you're not just ignoring him, you're sending a message without even speaking. That silence becomes a mirror, and in that mirror, his true intentions are revealed. A man can say he loves you, he can say he cares, he can promise you a future. But if his actions don't line up, then those words are empty. The moment you go quiet, the moment you stop reaching out, you give him the chance to either step forward or step away, and whichever choice he makes shows you he really is. A man who truly values you cannot sit in silence for long. He notices when you stop calling, when you stop texting, when you stop checking in. At first, he might brush it off, thinking maybe you're just busy or maybe you'll come around later. But as the hours turn into days, and the days stretch longer, that silence starts to bother him. He begins to feel something he doesn't like. Uncertainty. Uncertainty about where he stands with you. Uncertainty about whether he's losing you. Uncertainty about whether somebody else might be getting your attention. That discomfort is what pushes him to act. He reaches out, he asks questions, he puts in the effort. Because in his heart he knows your presence had value, and he doesn't want to risk losing it. But let's flip it. A man who was never fully invested, a man who only half-heartedly cared, will feel relief in your silence. He won't chase you, he won't check on you, he won't close the gap. Why? Because your presence was never a priority for him. He was okay receiving your effort as long as you kept giving it, but when it disappears, he doesn't feel the urgency to respond. That's the gift of silence. It shows you in crystal clear detail what a man is made of. It doesn't require arguments, it doesn't require explanations, it doesn't require you begging for attention. You simply step back and his reaction becomes your answer. Silence is powerful because it forces clarity. Think about it. When you're always the one making the call, always the one sending the good morning text, always the one holding the relationship together, you never get to see what he would do if you stopped. You never know if he's with you out of true care or out of convenience. But the moment you stop contacting him, you get that answer. A man who cares will show up. A man who doesn't will fade away. And isn't that better to know sooner rather than later? Some women fear that if they go silent, they'll lose the man. But here's the truth. If your silence makes him disappear, he wasn't your man to begin with. You didn't lose him, you just lost the illusion of him. You lost the version you were holding on to in your mind, not the reality of who he really was. The right man cannot be pushed away by silence. He will feel it, he will notice it, and he will take action to bridge that distance. The wrong man, the one who wasn't invested, will take your silence as an opportunity to walk out quietly. And believe me, letting him walk is the best gift you could give yourself. Silence also resets the balance in a relationship. When you stop contacting a man, you're not punishing him, you're protecting yourself. You're saying, I refuse to carry this weight alone. You're giving him room to decide if he values the relationship enough to contribute to it. And that's important, because love cannot be one-sided. If you're always chasing, always proving, always fighting to be seen, then you're not in a partnership. You're in a performance. Your silence takes you off that stage and forces him to show whether he's willing to step up or let it go. Now let's be honest, silence isn't easy. It requires strength, patience, and faith in your worth. It's much easier to pick up the phone, send a text, or explain yourself. But every time you break the silence first, you rob yourself of the chance to see his true colors. You give him comfort without accountability. You hand him reassurance without making him earn it. That's why silence is so powerful. It doesn't allow him to hide behind your effort anymore. It shines a light on who he really is when he no longer has your voice to lean on. Think of silence as a test, not for him but for you. Can you trust yourself enough to wait and watch? Can you hold back long enough to see the truth? Can you protect your energy instead of wasting it on someone who might not even value it? When you can, you become stronger. You realize you don't need constant validation from a man to know your worth. You don't need to beg for his attention to feel secure. You don't need to keep giving to prove you're deserving. Silence teaches you that your peace matters more than his response. For the man who cares, silence will wake him up. He'll realize he can't take you for granted, that your presence isn't guaranteed, that your love isn't free. He'll put in the effort to reconnect, to reassure, to rebuild. For the man who doesn't, silence gives you the gift of freedom. It shows you he was never going to step up, no matter how much you gave. And once you see that, you can walk away with your head held high, knowing you didn't lose anything. You gain clarity. So when you stop contacting a man, remember this: you are not being petty. You are not playing games. You are not being cold. You are allowing life to reveal what words never could. Silence is the strongest statement you can make without saying a single thing. And in the end, it will tell you everything you need to know about where he stands, and more importantly, where you should stand too. A man will always chase what he feels he might lose. That's just how we're wired. When something is always there, always available, always waiting, we start to take it for granted. We don't see the urgency in holding on, because deep down we believe it's not going anywhere. But the moment a man senses that something valuable could slip away, that's when his instincts kick in. He becomes alert, he becomes focused, he becomes driven to protect and pursue what he suddenly realizes he could lose forever. When a woman stops calling, stops texting, stops reminding a man of her presence, it shakes him. At first, he might shrug it off. He might think she's just busy or she'll come around eventually. But as that silence stretches longer, he starts to feel uneasy. He begins asking questions in his own head. Why hasn't she called? Is she talking to someone else? Did I push her away? Am I about to lose her? Those questions don't sit easy with a man, because they hit his pride and his emotions all at once. The thought of losing something valuable makes him realize how much it meant to him in the first place. See, a man doesn't appreciate what's easy. He appreciates what he had to work for, what he had to earn, what he had to fight to keep. When you stop being readily available, you remind him that you are not a guarantee. You remind him that love is not something to take lightly. You remind him that if he doesn't step up, someone else might. That fear of loss wakes him up in ways words never could. Think about it. When something is rare, people protect it. When something is valuable, people chase it. Diamonds don't sit out on the sidewalk, you've got to dig for them. Gold doesn't shine on the surface. You've got to put in the effort to uncover it. Love works the same way. When a man feels he could lose you, he realizes he has to put in the work to keep you. He begins to value your presence because now he understands what your absence feels like. The chase isn't about playing games. It's about balance. If you're always chasing a man, always making the effort, always reassuring him, he never has to fear losing you. He knows you'll always be there, no matter how little he gives. But when you step back, when you let silence fill the space, when you allow him to feel that distance, the roles shift. Now it's on him to decide if he values you enough to come forward. That's when you see his true intentions, because a man who really wants you will not sit back and risk losing you. He will move, he will act, he will pursue. This fear of loss is not about manipulation, it's about revelation. It reveals where you stand in his life. If he truly values you, silence won't push him away, it will pull him closer. He will fight for the connection. He will prove himself worthy of your time. He will make sure you know he doesn't want to let go. But if he was never serious, if he was just passing time, then he won't chase. He'll let you slip away without a second thought. And that right there saves you from wasting months or years on someone who was never willing to give you the love you deserve. Men are hunters by nature. That doesn't mean women should play hard to get or put on an act, but it does mean men need to feel that they're earning what they have. The moment a man believes your love is endless, no matter how he treats you, he stops appreciating it. But when he realizes your love has boundaries, that your time has value, that your energy is not free, that's when he steps into his role as a man. That's when he chases, that's when he proves, that's when he commits. When you stop contacting a man, you're not being cruel. You're reminding him of the natural order of love. Love should never be one-sided. It should never be one person carrying the effort while the other sits back and enjoys the ride. Love requires balance. It requires mutual pursuit. It requires both people showing up. If you're the only one showing up, then he never has to. But the moment you step back, the moment you stop giving, the moment you stop contacting, you find out whether he's willing to close that gap. And here's the truth: the right man won't let silence last too long. He won't gamble with losing you. He will pick up the phone. He will send the message. He will make the effort because in his heart he knows he has something worth keeping. He knows that your presence makes his life better, and the fear of losing that pushes him to act. The wrong man. He'll stay silent. He'll convince himself that if you were serious you'd reach out first. He'll let the connection fade because he never valued it in the first place. And that's your answer, clear as day. Women often underestimate the power of stepping back. They think silence means weakness, when in reality it's the greatest strength. Silence forces a man to reveal himself. Silence shows you whether he fears losing you or whether he's fine watching you walk away. Silence is not the absence of love, it's the presence of self-respect. When you choose silence, you're choosing to let him prove his worth instead of you proving yours. So when you stop contacting a man, understand what's really happening. You're not chasing, you're not begging, you're not forcing. You're allowing him to decide. And a man who truly wants you will never risk losing you to pride, laziness, or ego. He will chase what he fears losing. He will step forward when he realizes that silence could mean goodbye. He will prove that you were never just an option. You were the priority all along. There comes a point in life where you have to put your peace above everything else. See, when you keep contacting a man who isn't giving you the same energy back, you're not just chasing him, you're sacrificing your peace. You're sacrificing your time, your joy, your emotional balance, all for someone who may not even see the value of what you're giving. And let me tell you something, once you start sacrificing your peace for somebody else's comfort, you lose twice. You lose the man and you lose yourself. That's why your peace must always come first. A relationship that costs you your peace is too expensive. Love is supposed to build you, not drain you. It's supposed to lift you, not weigh you down. But when you're constantly reaching out, constantly chasing, constantly explaining, you end up exhausted. You wake up tired, you go to bed anxious, and your mind is always running asking, why hasn't he called? Did I do something wrong? It's not love, that's torment. And no woman, no man, no human being deserves to live in that kind of constant emotional chaos. Peace is powerful because it keeps you grounded. When you choose peace, you stop begging for things that should come naturally. You stop explaining yourself to someone who doesn't want to listen. You stop making excuses for someone who doesn't want to change. You simply say, if my presence is not valued, then my absence will speak. And in that absence, you reclaim your peace. You reclaim your energy. You reclaim your self-respect. See, here's the thing about peace. It doesn't mean you don't care. It means you care enough about yourself to not let someone else's behavior destroy your spirit. When you stop contacting a man who doesn't give you the same in return, you're not being cold. You're being wise. You're protecting the most valuable thing you have, which is your inner calm. Because peace is not just about silence on the outside, it's about silence on the inside. It's about being able to lay your head down at night and rest. Knowing you're not fighting for something that was never yours to begin with. When you keep chasing after someone who doesn't respond, you're teaching yourself that your worth is tied to their validation. But when you step back, when you say, I choose my peace over this back and forth, you're teaching yourself that your worth is non-negotiable. You're reminding yourself that your energy is valuable, your time is limited, and your love is too precious to be wasted on someone who can't see it. And let me tell you something else. When you protect your peace, you attract better. The right man will never be comfortable with you carrying all the weight. The right man will not sit back while you're the only one calling, the only one texting, the only one checking in. The right man will understand that your peace matters, and he will do everything he can to contribute to it, not take away from it. He will call you first, he will make the effort, he will bring calm instead of chaos. That's how you know he's the one. Not by how much you chase him, but by how much he values your peace. Peace also gives you clarity. When your mind isn't clouded by anxiety, when your heart isn't weighed down by unanswered questions, you start to see things for what they are. You start noticing the patterns you ignored before. You realize that if someone cared, they wouldn't need to be reminded to show it. You realize that love is not supposed to feel like confusion. You realize that sometimes silence is the only answer you need. That's the beauty of peace. It brings the truth to the surface without you even asking for it. Now, don't get me wrong. Choosing peace isn't easy. It's hard to stop calling when your heart wants answers. It's hard to stay silent when your mind is racing with thoughts. It's hard to pull back when all you want is to move closer. But peace isn't about what's easy. It's about what's necessary. It's about deciding that no matter how much you care for someone else, you will not lose yourself in the process. Sometimes protecting your peace means letting go of people you wanted to keep. Sometimes it means walking away from conversations that only lead to arguments. Sometimes it means sitting in silence instead of forcing a connection. And yes, it hurts at first. It feels empty. It feels lonely. It feels like you're giving up. But over time, that pain fades, and what replaces it is strength. What replaces it is calm. What replaces it is the realization that you don't need to chase anyone to prove your worth. Your peace is your power. Without it, you can't think clearly. You can't grow. You can't be the best version of yourself. With it, you can make better decisions, you can attract healthier love, you can live with confidence. That's why you must protect it at all costs. Don't let anyone disturb it, don't let anyone drain it, don't let anyone convince you that their comfort matters more than your calm. Because at the end of the day, when you've given everything and you're left with nothing, the only thing you'll wish you had protected is your peace. So when you stop contacting a man, don't see it as punishment, see it as preservation. You are preserving your sanity, preserving your dignity, preserving your energy. You're choosing to step out of the chaos and into calm. You're choosing to give yourself the gift of peace, even if it means losing the man. Because the right man will never cost you your peace. He will bring you joy, security, and comfort, not confusion, doubt, and pain. And when you finally meet that man, you'll look back and thank yourself for protecting your peace long enough to recognize him when he came.